Welcome, welcome, welcome. What's up, everybody? Hope you're having a great Tuesday so far. Getting all of that holiday sluggishness off of you. We're going to start here in just a second, but why don't you help me out by going ahead and going ahead and sharing this with a few people, especially if you're on Facebook. It's super easy to just click that share button, share this with a few people. I know it's going to help you. It's going to help other people. Today, we're going to be talking about how to finish the year strong. December is already here, just a few days away, and usually around this time of year, a lot of people start to lose kind of hope or lose the drive, the ambition to finish their goals, to stay with their routines, and they just kind of give up for the rest of the year. And so we're going to talk about finishing the year strong. So if you could help me, like I said, just go ahead and share this really quick. I know it's been a minute since I've been on a live stream, but we are getting back in the routine. Took a little time off after our 40 days of prayer and fasting. That was just a lot. Doing a video and a live stream every single day for 40 days straight was a lot. So we are back. If you are watching live, why don't you go ahead and let me know where you're watching from. Go ahead and let me know. I'm adjusting the audio a little bit here. I think it was a little bit loud. Let me know where you're watching from. Let me know if you're watching at all. If you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, really the only way that I can see if you're watching is if you share this stream and if you comment. So I would love for you to comment and just let me know if you're watching. So we're going to get started here in just a second. I'm going to make a few adjustments. I want to go ahead and share this on my own Facebook and all that stuff. So yeah, just go ahead and share this for me. Comment, let me know where you're watching from. Want to make sure that we are live, that everything's going good. Cool, we're good. I know it is the middle of the work day, so we'll see how many people are able to get on, but my plan is to do one stream on Thursday nights, which is more of kind of a sermon preaching, and then one stream on Tuesday morning-ish afternoon at 11 a.m. Central Time. And these streams are going to be a little bit more what I would call lifestyle or life building, kind of helping you build your life according to the Bible. Because how many of you know the Bible has all the answers you need? It has the answers for relationships. It has the answers for money issues. It has the answers for everything that we're going in life. The Bible has the answers. So I'm going to just be sharing a little bit on these Tuesdays about leadership, about self-discipline, self-development. So really, really excited about that. So cool. Well, hey, I see a few people are on. So if you're on, let me know where you're watching from. Go ahead and comment. The only way I know that you're watching is if you comment. So I'd love to see your name. I'd love to interact with you a little bit. So if you can go ahead and just leave a comment, I'd love to say what's up to you real quick. But hey, let's go ahead and get started with the teaching. Finishing the year strong. How many of you know around the holidays, around Thanksgiving, Christmas, maybe even Halloween, it seems like people just start to fall off of their goals. They fall off of their ambition. They fall off of their routine, all of these different things. And then we just kind of say, hey, we're going to start again next year. Let me know if you've done that before. Hey, David. Hey, Willie. Let me know if you have ever been in a situation where you're trying to eat healthy, you're trying to work out, you're trying to save money, and then you start eating those Thanksgiving leftovers. You start going to see a lot of family. People start bringing you pies and cakes, and you're like, I'm going to start again next year. Or you're trying to save money, and the Christmas season is coming, and you're like, well, I want to get these Christmas presents for everybody, and I want to really do it big this year. I want to go on a vacation, so I'll save money and I'll pay off that debt next year. I think a lot of people do this. A lot of people end up giving up on their goals. They end up giving up on what they want to accomplish, and we say, we'll just start again next year. So a lot of people right now, maybe even you, I know I've done it in the past, a lot of people are like, hey, I'll start again in 2023. I'll start again whenever the new year is. Like, I'll start my routines and my ambitions and all that stuff again. But the problem is a lot of times we end up getting ourselves in such a hole at the end of the year that when the new year comes, it takes us forever to get out of that hole. It takes us forever to get back to kind of the baseline. And then the cycle just continues to repeat over and over and over. So a lot of people can't start their year strong. A lot of people can't start the new year strong, start 2023 strong, because they didn't end 2022 strong. So I want to just give you a few principles, a few things that I think you can take and you can apply no matter where you're at right now. Maybe you've completely blown your goals for this year. Maybe you didn't even have any goals for this year. Maybe you feel like you're worse off now than you were at the beginning of the year. Or maybe you feel like you're doing pretty good. You feel like you've done pretty well, but you want to drive through and you want to finish strong. I want to give you a few principles that are going to help you with that today. So thank you for sharing. Thank you for continuing. And let's just dive into this. Here's the thing. Everyone likes to start. It's really easy to start. It's really easy to get excited about something. It's really easy to get motivated about something, but not many people finish well. That's why all throughout the Bible, it talks about finishing the race, that we're to run the race of faith, but finish the race. How many people you know, even in your life, even when it comes to faith, have started the race of faith, but they haven't finished the race of faith? They've started following Jesus, but they haven't finished following him. At some point in their life, they started to give up on their faith. They started to give up on what God had called them to do, and they didn't finish well. So what I want to talk about is not so much finishing in our faith and in our salvation, but I want to talk about how do we finish this year well. Ecclesiastes chapter 7 verse 8 says this: "Better is the end than the beginning, and therefore the patient in spirit is better than the proud in spirit." This is what that tells me. This tells me that your ending can be better than your beginning, that you can end 2022 better than you started it. And it also tells me that those who are patient, those who do the small things well, will get a lot farther than the person that's really excited, the person that's really proud, the person that thinks they have it all together, the person that thinks they're going to accomplish all this stuff. And they're all that in the beginning, but they're not patient in the process along the way. They don't do the small things along the way. I heard a quote recently where someone said, "The man who loves walking will walk further than the man who loves the destination." A man who loves walking will walk further than the man who loves the destination. So a lot of people are excited about starting. A lot of people are excited about the destination. A lot of people are excited about losing the 20 pounds, about getting out of debt, about buying a house, whatever your goal or ambition may be. But if you're not patient, like it tells us in Ecclesiastes, you're probably going to end up pretty bad off. And so let me just dive in to a few things that I want to give you where we can end this this year strong. So let me know in the comments if you're watching. Go ahead and comment, "Finish the year strong." Comment, "Finish the year strong." So here's how we're going to end our year strong. The first thing I want you to do, if we're going to end our year strong, is you need to review the past year. You need to review the past 11 months or so and take an honest look at how things went this year. 2 Corinthians chapter 15 verse 5 says, "Examine yourselves to see if your faith is genuine. Test yourselves. Surely you know that Jesus Christ is among you. If not, you have failed to test your genuine faith." So, of course, this is talking about our faith. I understand that. I understand the context. But I want you to look at where it says, examine yourself. It's good to examine where we are in life. And I'm going to give you in just a moment a few areas that you can examine. Let me give you one more scripture. Galatians chapter 6, verse 4 says, "Pay careful attention to your own work." Pay attention to your own work. And we could get into a whole nother conversation about comparison, about looking at other people's work and what other people are doing, what other people are accomplishing. But it says, pay careful attention to your own work. Then you will get the satisfaction of a job well done. Verse 5 says, "For we are each responsible for our own conduct." So we are responsible. I know things may have happened to you in this year. I know you may have gone through trials. You may have gone through temptations, but you are responsible for your own work. You're responsible for your own conduct. This year, many of you know, I've had a crazy year. My dad almost passed away. My son was in the hospital for over 10 weeks. We recently resigned from the church that we co-founded with my parents. My grandmother recently passed away. All things that are very hard, very challenging, and knocked me off the path a whole lot. I'm not gonna be honest. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna be honest with you. It knocked me off a whole lot in those different circumstances. But I have to evaluate and understand that I'm responsible for my own conduct. I'm responsible for how things are gonna go in my life. So here's what we have to do. We have to be honest with ourselves. How did you do this year? Look at the different phases of your life. Look at the different things in your life. How did you do? And this isn't for anyone else. You don't have to show this to anyone else. You don't have to comment. You don't have to tell me how you did. But I want you to take an honest evaluation. How did you do this year? Taking an account of everything that happened, the good, the bad, the ugly. Sometimes I do this in my journal. I'll just start to write things that happened, and I don't necessarily mark them down whether they're good or bad in the moment. I just write down, hey, here's everything that's happened. Because what you can do is when you look at the things that have happened in your life, you may see some patterns begin to arise. You may see some things that, okay, when I go around these certain people, the next week or two, I kind of get in a funk. I kind of get a little off track. Or when I don't go to church for a couple weeks in a row, I get off track. Or when I give into this temptation, I get off track. I'm not necessarily saying a sin temptation. It could be a sin temptation, but the temptation to spend money that you don't have, or the temptation to eat food that you shouldn't eat. What have you been through? And I want you to begin to pick up some patterns. Are there things that you seem to do over and over and over? And if you have the time and if you want to, you can even stretch this out maybe over the past couple of years and look, what are the things that you have done over the past couple of years and what are the patterns? So here are a couple areas that you can review, and these are just big blocks in your life. Obviously, there's a lot of other things that you can do, but the first thing you need to review is you need to review your spiritual life. You need to review your prayer life. You need to review your Bible reading. You need to review your church attendance. You need to review, is God speaking to you clearly? Do you feel distant from God? Do you feel like you are trapped in a rut right now? Do you feel like you have been being attacked by principalities and spiritual powers? Take an account of your spiritual life. The second thing I want you to take account of as we're reviewing our year is I want you to take account of your physical life. Take account of your physical life. And when I say physical, I'm also going to include mental, emotional, basically everything that has to do with your physical, fleshly self. So, are you tired a lot? Do you have aches and pains in your body? Have you gained weight? Have you lost weight? Do you feel, that you need some kind of surgery? Just different things. Take account of your physical life. Where are you in that? And again, this isn't for anyone else. This is for you. If you don't take account of it, you're not going to be able to know how to change it. If you don't record it, if you don't write it down, you're not going to know whether you're getting better or whether you're getting worse. And so I want you to take account of your physical life. Again, this could be your emotions. I want you to take account, do you feel happy? Do you feel joy? Do you feel peace? Are you excited about life when you wake up, or are you dreading life? Are you dreading going to work? Do you have a fatigue that you're carrying around all the time? Take note of these things. The third area that you need to take note of and evaluate from this past year is your relational area. And this could be your romantic relationships with friends, with family, any kind of relationship in your life. I want you to begin to review that. Have you gotten better at your relationships? Have you gotten closer with your spouse? Have you gotten closer with your friends and family? Have you felt like you've supported them well this year? Or do you feel like you haven't? Do you feel like maybe your marriage has suffered a little bit this year? Do you feel like maybe your relationship with your kids has suffered a little bit this year? And then something that I like to do is take account of my relationships, and this will tie us into the next point in just a moment, but are there relationships that maybe you don't want to continue going into the new year? Are there relationships that maybe a couple years ago, maybe in college, maybe in high school, you were close with people, but the relationship's just not there anymore? That's okay. You don't have to get upset about that. You don't have to feel bad about that. You don't have to beat yourself up about that. But it's just good to take note and understand, hey, this is where I'm at. Because if we don't understand where we're at right now, we can't move forward. That's why I'm having you take an account of all these different things. We have to understand where we're at. And then the last one is financial. And this is very practical, but finances affect so much of our life. If you look at the top reasons for divorces, I think it's the number one or number two usually around infidelity. They usually switch back and forth year to year, but it's usually the number one or number two reason people get divorced is because of financial disagreements and financial struggle. So I want you to take account of your finances. Are you in debt? Have you made some bad choices this year, or are you doing better than ever? Are you setting yourself up for the future? And the reason, before we go on to the next point, the reason I'm having you take an account of all these different things is because if you don't know where you are, you can't know where to go. Let me put it this way: if you don't know where you are right now, you don't know the path to move forward. If you don't know your current location, you don't know how to get to your future location. When you are in your car and you open your phone and you put in a route or you put in a destination where you want to go eat or you want to go work or whatever it is, a coffee shop, you won't know how to get to that place. The GPS has to figure out where you are right now in order to show you how to get there. I don't know if you've ever been in a situation where your signal's low and your phone pulls up the place that you want to go. It pulls up the location that you're supposed to arrive at, but because your signal's weak, the GPS, the satellites can't figure out where you are, and so it can't give you directions to the destination that you want to go. So in order for you to figure out how to get to the destination, you have to first figure out your current location. You have to be honest with yourself and you have to figure out, where am I right now? Again, Galatians chapter 6, verse 4. Pay careful attention to your own work. Figure out where you are, and then we can figure out where we want to go. Number 2 on how to finish the year strong, how to end well, is going to be remove the baggage. Remove the baggage. Hebrews chapter 12 verse 1 says, therefore, since we are surrounded by such a huge crowd of witnesses to the life of faith, let us strip off every weight that slows us down, especially the sin that so easily trips us up, and let us run with endurance the race that God has set before us. Let us strip off every weight that slows us down. So let me ask you this: what do you need to leave in 2022? What are the weights that you need to remove? What is the baggage that you need to remove? This could be the baggage of you have an offense in your life right now, and that offense is keeping you from moving into your future. It could be that you have the baggage of a relationship right now. Maybe you're dating someone right now, you're seeing someone right now, and you know that they are not going to take you into your future. You know that the future you have in your mind does not line up with the future that they have in their mind. Maybe that's a weight that you need to cast off. Maybe, like it says, there's a sin that's been easily tripping you up. Maybe there's a sin that you need to leave in 2022. And I know that seems very, just, oh yeah, leave it behind. And you're like, I've been trying to leave it behind. But if you don't write it down, if you don't make it a mental effort, if you don't make a conscious effort of, I'm going to leave this in 2022, you're just going to take that same baggage into 2023 or into whatever new year you're watching this on, and you're going to continue the cycle over and over and over. So are there bad habits that you need to leave in 2022? Or what about this, maybe a little bit more practical? Are there unfinished projects that you need to finish before you go into the new year? I don't know about you, but a lot of times it's easy for me to start things. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about starting and not finishing well. And I can have a lot of projects going on at one time, but the problem with that is I can start to get overloaded, and it can become cumbersome to do all those different projects. And so I want to encourage you, before you start a new reading plan in 2023, have you finished your current reading plan? Before you start a new weight loss journey or a new diet, have you finished the one that you're on right now? Or have you finished reading the studies that you're reading, or the books that you want to read to set you up? What are some projects that you have? I know for me, I have some projects around our house that I really want to finish before we go into the new year. There's some landscaping that I want to do, cleaning out our garage, some different things like that. All of that is baggage. Some of that is actual physical stuff. Like some of you need to declutter. I know that's something that I do very often, or I say very often, probably 2 or 3 times a year. Just declutter. There's probably so much stuff in your house right now, in your apartment right now, that you don't need. And it's causing you to stress, it's causing you anxiety. You may not even realize it, but just having so much stuff is probably weighing you down. So let's set aside these weights. What are the things that you need to get rid of? Maybe you need to go through your closet and get rid of a bunch of old clothes. Maybe you need to go through your office. I know me, I can get so many little things in my office, so many little cords and adapters and, little plug-in blocks and all these different, all this different stuff. And like, I could use it eventually. I'm the type of person that's like, well, I'm probably going to use this one day, but am I really? And the principle that I've found that works for me is if you haven't used something in 6 months, you're probably not going to use it. Or maybe it's a winter item or a summer item, but if it's been a winter or two or summer or two and you haven't used it, you're probably not going to use it. So put it on Facebook Marketplace, donate it to Goodwill, donate it to your church, give it to a homeless shelter, however it works out for you. But let's remove the baggage. What are the things that we need to stop in 2022? What are the habits? What are the places that we go to, the cycles that we get in, the relationships? So remove the baggage. Number 3, let's talk about number 3. You guys getting anything out of this? Let me know if you're enjoying this. I have the comments right here. I can see you guys commenting. Go ahead and share this again if you don't mind. If you would, just go ahead and share again. Let me know if you're watching. Let me know if you're commenting. Thank you guys so much. So number 3 on how to finish the year strong. Number 3 on how to finish the year strong. If you're going to finish the year strong, you need to reevaluate your priorities and your values. If you're going to finish this year strong and start the next year strong, because again, we are finishing this year strong so we can start the next year strong, you need to reevaluate your priorities and your values. Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 2, many of you have heard this before, it's been used a lot in preaching, says, "Then the Lord said to me, write my answer plainly on the tablet." I'm sorry, it's wrong translation. It says, "Write the vision and make it plain so that a runner can carry the message to others." Habakkuk chapter 2, write the vision and make it plain. If you're going to be successful, you have to write down what is your vision. And when I say vision, a lot of times we can just think that that's like, okay, well, I'm going to lose 25 pounds, or I'm going to save $1,000, or I'm going to get married, or I'm going to buy a house. But what I want to encourage you is to dig a little bit deeper and make that, what are your priorities? What are your values? So do you value family time? Do you value taking a Sabbath every week? Do you value having no debt? Do you value having paid off vehicles? What are the values that you have in your life? And the reason I say I want you to reevaluate these is because you may have had priorities in 2022 that you're not going to have in 2023. So maybe one of your priorities was to pay off your debt. Well, if you've paid off your debt in 2022, then that's not going to be a value or a priority in 2023. Maybe the value and the priority in 2023 is now going to be to build a savings account or to build an investment account. So I want you to reevaluate what are the areas that maybe were important this year, but they're not going to be important next year. And it's not diminishing them. It's not saying that they were a bad thing or a mistake. It's just, again, evaluating. We've got to find out where we are. We have to take an honest look at where we are to figure out how to get where we want to go. Are there areas and priorities that you lost track of? So maybe there was something that for the first 3 or 4 months of the year, you were really on it, you were really excited about it, and then you lost track of it. You lost You lost the routine, you lost the drive, you lost the motivation. Is that something that you want to try again in this coming year? Or did you just realize, hey, this is something I'm not really into? I think that's something we have to be honest with. When we don't complete a goal, is it because of our discipline and just because we didn't finish what we started? Or did we honestly just find out in the middle of it, hey, this is something we're not passionate about, this is something that we're not excited about? So reevaluate your priorities and your values, and then look at, okay, what are going to be the new priorities, what are going to be the new values in 2023, in this coming year? What are going to be my new routines? Am I going to wake up early and do my devotional in the morning? Am I going to pray in the morning? Am I going to go work out? Am I going to come home and spend a couple hours with the family after work? Am I going to do a date night with my wife? Am I going to go to Bible study once a week at my church? Am I going to go to church every Sunday? Am I going to serve at my church? What are the priorities? Am I going to, take on more hours at work? Am I going to try to get promoted at work? What are the values? What are the routines, the habits that you want to implement? And I'm probably going to do another stream soon about habits and routines, because really that's what all of this is built on. But this is about finishing the year strong. So we're going to reevaluate our priorities, our values. And then the last one, and this is really how we're going to finish strong, because a lot of this has just been introspection and looking at where we are, is I want you to restart right now. So instead of waiting to restart in 2023, instead of waiting to start in January, I want you to restart your goals, your values. Start it right now. Or maybe you're not restarting them. Maybe you're starting new goals and new projects and ideas and new things that you want to accomplish. You don't have to wait for January. I know I've done this so many times in my life. You've probably done it before. You're going in and it's like a Thursday and you get really motivated and you're thinking, I want to really lose some weight. Well, let me start till Monday though, or let me wait on Monday. Let me wait and start on Monday. And I think it's really funny because Monday is just this thing that we've kind of made up. Like, it's just a day. It doesn't really have any power to it. It doesn't really have any magical little thing of like, oh, I'm going to be more successful if I start on a Monday. But we kind of have that mindset where I want to start on a Monday, or I want to start in January, when you can start right now. You can start whatever you're passionate about, whatever you're excited about. You can start right now. I know for me, I've started running recently, which if you know me, you know I am not a runner. I do not really enjoy it, but there are goals that I want to accomplish in 2023 that I have to do a lot of running to accomplish those goals. And I could wait until January, but in my mind, I'm like, that's just going to put me even further back in accomplishing my goals. And here's something that I've realized is so applicable in life, and it's Newton's first law of motion. So take a drink of water. My mouth keep getting tripped up here. Newton's first law of motion says this: what is in motion tends to stay in motion, and what is at rest tends to stay at rest. What is in motion tends to stay in motion, and what is at rest tends to stay at rest. Here's the thing, where we are right now in the year, so many people are kind of digging their heels in being not successful. Like, I'll just put it that way. A lot of people are, they're not being productive at work. They're not following through on their workouts. They're not eating healthy. They're not keeping up with routines. They're just like, hey, it's the holidays and there's a party every night and we're going to stay up late and we're just going to do whatever we want to do. We're going to sleep in and we're going to spend all this money that we don't have. We're going to put all this stuff on credit cards. And then what happens is in January, they kind of wake up and they're like, oh man, this past year or this past month dug me in such a hole. Now it's going to take me 2 or 3 months to even get back to a baseline. So don't dig yourself in a hole over the course of December that it takes you January, February, March, April to even get back to the baseline of where you are right now. A lot of people, like I said, go so far backwards, or they dig themselves in a hole in this season So what can you start right now so that you can get in motion? Because it's been shown over and over again. I mean, it's just truth. It's just reality. You're not going to wake up January 1st and just have this magical motivation. You're not going to have just all this energy. You're not going to have all of these ideas and just be like, "Man, I'm successful now. I'm going to be so successful at my job now. I'm going to be so successful at school now." There's so many times that this has been shown, and even in your life, I'm sure that you've been like, "Hey, in January, I'm gonna do it. I'm finally gonna get after it," and it just doesn't happen. And I think that's because you have been at rest for the past month, the past 3 months, the past 6 months, whatever. And what is at rest tends to stay at rest, and what is in motion tends to stay in motion. So, what can you start right now to just get some momentum going? I think one of the greatest things that you can have in January is momentum. Instead of having motivation, it's better to have momentum. I would much rather have momentum in January than a ton of motivation, because motivation is going to fade. Motivation is going to go away. That's why every gym is filled the first 2 or 3 weeks of January, and then all those people stop going and keep paying that gym, and gyms make a lot of money that way. It's a part of their marketing to do that way. That's why they have the free initiation fees in the January, and hey, come get a month free, and then they hit you with all the charges in February, because they know most people are going to give up, which is sad. So instead of having motivation in January, I would rather have momentum. So what can you build some momentum with right now so that you have it in January? Can you start walking right now? I know your goal in January, or your goal in 2023, you're like, "I'm going to run a 5K, or I'm going to run a half marathon." Well, why don't you start just walking right now? Don't worry about your pace. Don't worry about the distance. Just go for a little walk right now. Start to build that momentum. Maybe in 2023, you're thinking, I want to save $5,000. Okay, well, before you save $5,000, why don't you try to save $100? Why don't you try to save $50 from each paycheck this coming month? Or maybe you get paid once a month and you can save a certain percentage from that paycheck. What are the little things that you can start to get some momentum in right now? Maybe you want to be promoted in 2023. You want to be promoted in the new year, and you're like, "Man, I'm just going to crush it at my job." Well, hey, maybe you can just work a little bit harder every day this month. Maybe just put in a little bit more effort. Maybe just get there 5 minutes earlier. Maybe just work a little bit later. Whatever it takes on your job. Maybe if you're in a sales job and you're like, "Hey, I'm going to make a ton of sales next year." Maybe this year, this last month of the year, you could make 5 more phone calls to make sales, or you could make 1 more phone call a day, something to build that momentum. What can you do to build the momentum? So you can start reading your Bible right now. Come on, you can start paying off debt right now. Don't wait until 2023 to start the Bible reading plan. Go ahead and start it right now. Hey, you may fall behind some days in 2023, so you could get a little ahead right now so that you're not super behind. But I want to encourage you, start doing something right now so that you can get that momentum. Let's go back and just recap a little bit. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for commenting and sharing. So if we're going to be successful in 2023, if you're going to be successful in the new year, just want to give you these 4 things real quick. To be successful in the new year, you need to review the past year. If you don't know where you are, you can't know how to get where you're going. If the GPS does not know where your car is, it can't tell you how to get to the restaurant. So you have to review the past year. You have to figure out where you are so you can know how to get where you want to go. The second thing you have to do is you have to remove the baggage. What is the baggage in your life? What are the relationships? What's the clutter in your home? What are the bad habits? What are the sins? What are the things that you need to remove from your life? And maybe they're not all bad things. Maybe they're just things that don't fit into your new year. Maybe they're things that just don't align with your new priorities and your new values, who you are today. Maybe they were aligned with who you were in college. Maybe they aligned with who you were in your 20s or who you were last year. Maybe they aligned back then, but it doesn't align with you right now. So remove the baggage. The third thing you need to do is you need to reevaluate your priorities and your values. So once you've kind of removed the things that you don't want, once you remove the baggage, then reevaluate your priorities and your values. What is a priority to you? Is your family time a priority to you? Is getting promoted a priority to you? Is eating healthy a priority to you? And once you reevaluate those things, you can decide what you're going to implement in this coming year. And again, maybe some of those things are aligned with who you used to be. Maybe those priorities were right for, last year or 5 years ago, but they don't fit who you are right now. So realign and reevaluate your priorities and your values. And then the last thing, if you're going to finish this year strong and start next year strong, I want you to restart your goals right now. Don't wait until January to restart on your goals. Don't wait until, a Monday. Start right now. Or maybe you're not restarting, maybe you're starting for the first time. What can you start right now to build that momentum going into the new year? Momentum is so much more important than motivation. If you're going to be successful in this coming year, if you're going to have a strong year, then you need to have some momentum and not just motivation. So hey, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed this type of teaching. Like I said, I'm going to be doing these on Tuesdays at around 11 a.m. Central Time. And these are going to be more kind of life lessons and life goals, kind of goal setting, values, habits, all that type of stuff. And then on Thursdays at 8 p.m., I hope you've been enjoying our series on press. Thursdays at 8 p.m., I'm doing kind of more preaching, sermon style, and I'll continue that. So Tuesdays and Thursdays every single week we'll have content that's coming out to you. And hey, if you're watching right now, I want to just go ahead and give a quick plug. It is Giving Tuesday, and there are a lot of people that are giving right now to nonprofits, people that are giving to different corporations and different things. And so I want to ask maybe that you would consider giving towards our ministry, Carry Revival. If you would consider giving towards what we are doing to help people be saved, to see revival in churches and ministries, and then to help equip believers. Things like this right here, if this is something that you enjoyed, this is possible because of our partners. We have partners that give with us, give to our ministry every single month. And that's only possible. We're only able to continue this ministry because of those partners. And so maybe this has blessed you. Maybe this has encouraged you. Maybe you've been following us for the last several months, and you're like, hey, I really like what they're doing. I want to just ask that you would pray and consider giving to us on this Giving Tuesday. It's tax deductible. You'll be able to get a receipt for that at the end of the year with your taxes. So if that's something you're interested in, you can go to carryrevival.com/partner, and that'll take you directly to our giving page. You can give online or you can give by check. If you want to send a check to P.O. Box 195, Liberty Hill, Texas, and you can send a check that way. All of that information is on our website. So again, I just wanted to make a quick plug. I know a lot of you are probably ending your lunch break, getting back to work, that sort of thing. So thank you so much for being with me today. Thank you for those of you that are giving to continue this ministry, to continue the ministry that's happening here online and as we travel. So love you guys. Thank you so much. And I'll see you Thursday night at 8 p.m. for part 4 of our press series. So take care. God bless.